Okay, welcome back. In this video, we are in Rome, the Eternal City, and our first stop, of course, is the Colosseum. And it's not actually called the Colosseum, it's the Flavian Amphitheater because it was built by the Emperor Flavian in the 1st century AD. It costs about €22 to go into it, so we didn't. It's also right next to the historic Palatine Hill. If you're not going into the Colosseum, you don't really need much time there. I'd say maybe half an hour, to be honest. Next up is the Roman Forum, which is a huge archaeological zone just north of the Colosseum. There's tons of Roman ruins from ancient buildings. You could spend a good hour and a half here looking around and reading all the little historical information plaques. The altar of the Fatherland is on the other side of the Roman Forum from the Colosseum. Inaugurated in 1911, it was designed to celebrate a recently unified Italy, and it also has a tomb of the unknown soldier to commemorate the Italian troops that died in World War I. From the top of the steps of the altar of the Fatherland, you can see Piazza Venezia and also parts of the Roman Forum coming up here on the right. Capitoline Hill was where a lot of the Roman leadership was first focused. It's one of the 7 hills that make up the city. It's just behind the altar of the Fatherland. This is where you can learn how to drink from the water fountains like a true Roman citizen. Oh, we did! And the backside of Capitoline Hill leads to another view of the Roman Forum. And there's tons of other cool sites around the Roman Forum. Here you can see the Circo Massimo, the hippodrome where they used to have horse and chariot races in ancient Rome, and now it's a public park. So now we're going to go across Piazza Venezia, which you can see here, from the altar of the Fatherland, a 15-minute walk to the Pantheon.
Behind us is the Pantheon. Pan means all, Theon means gods, so it was the temple in ancient Roman times, the temple to all of the gods.
It's free to get into the Pantheon, and when we went there really wasn't much of a line. It's kind of a small miracle that it still exists because it wasn't destroyed in World War II, and it became a church, or it was converted into a church, soon after Constantine made all of Rome Christian, so it wasn't cannibalized or destroyed with the rising new religion. Now we're going to take a walk through the streets of Rome to our next big tourist attraction. Get your selfie stick ready. It's Instagram time at the famous Trevi Fountain. So the tradition at Trevi Fountain is that you make a wish and then you throw a coin into the fountain. The Spanish Steps are another popular tourist attraction. They're right in front of the Trinità dei Monti Church. Sorry about that pronunciation. The church itself is a great place to watch a sunset while you're in Rome. Piazza Navona is a really cool plaza. The fountain is called the Fountain of the Four Rivers. I don't know why. There's a really cool Egyptian obelisk there. There's a lot of obelisks around Rome. Rome's plazas have long been a social gathering point for people just hanging out in the days before TV and the internet. Now they're the place to go for top quality Italian food restaurants. Art and history are everywhere in Rome. The city's like a museum. You're never very far from some ancient ruin or some beautiful work of art. Porta Maggiore is pretty far from most of the other historical stuff. It's right next to a train station. Our dingy hostel was right there, but it's still amazing. You're constantly finding examples of the modern built alongside of or on top of the ancient, which is really cool. So we're going to cross the Tiber River now, which is the main river that divides the two parts of Rome. And first we're going to go to Trastevere, which is a really cool kind of... It's definitely an old neighborhood. I don't know how old, but it's kind of bohemian, kind of artsy. That's the vibe I got, at least. Again, lots of great restaurants, really cool streets to go walk through and explore. I'd say it's definitely worth dedicating at least a couple hours, if not a whole morning or afternoon. Actually, let's make that an afternoon, because in Italy, things don't really open in the morning. So maybe go see the ancient monuments in the morning when everything else is closed, and then go to a place like Trastevere in the afternoon when all the cafes and restaurants are open. The Vatican is pretty cool. We only went to St. Peter's Basilica, which is, I guess, the outermost part of Vatican City. Alright, so the last thing that we're going to show you is the Old Appian Way. This is an ancient road that led from Rome out to the seaports, and from there Romans would go out to the parts of the empire in the modern day Middle East, Turkey, Greece, the Balkans, places like that. You can find a lot of catacombs out here, early Christian burial sites, as well as some other ancient ruins from Roman upper nobility that had their palaces built out here. Alright folks, that's all we've got for you. Of course, there are many more things to see and do in Rome if you've got more time and more money than we do. But thanks for joining us, and don't forget to like and subscribe. In the words of Brad Pitt, arrivederci.